name is Mandy Bish. I'm an extension specialist with the University of Missouri, and I'm out here at Bradford Research Center, and I want to talk a little bit about Dicamba today. I'm going to touch on the labels and the ruling by the Ninth Circuit Court, and also talk a little bit about one research project that we have going on with pH modifiers. So first, the labels. In June of 2020, as most of you know, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the XtendiMax, Engenia, and FeXapan labels were to be vacated. And so the timing of that brought a lot of chaos, and there were a lot of questions with that. So let's just go over it a little bit. Basically, one of the big questions was, well, what about Tavium? And so the background on this is that in 2019, this lawsuit was filed against EPA. And the lawsuit actually addressed the EPA's re-registration of the XtendiMax, Engenia, and FeXapan labels in 2018. So that date is key. It addressed their re-registration in 2018. The Tavium label was not approved until 2019. So by the date, it was not being re-registered and it was not applicable. The lawsuit was not applicable to Tavium at that time. And so as of today, Tavium is still a registered product. But as we look forward to the future, the Tavium label is set to expire in December of 2020. And that's the time when the other three products were set to expire also. Currently, the EPA is working on the re-registration of these products, and that includes Tavium for 2021 and beyond. Now, Tavium is a little different than the other products in that it is a pre-package or pre-mix of Dicamba with S-metolachlor. So what 2021 looks like for Tavium might be a little different than the other Dicamba products, but in general, EPA is making a decision on all of these products for the 2021 growing season and beyond. And it seems that EPA has a better understanding of when producers make their decisions about purchasing seed, and so they are working to get those get the information or get their final decision done. So I want to switch gears a little bit and focus on one Dicamba research project that we have going on this summer. And it's kind of built upon some work that our colleagues at the University of Tennessee did. So in 2019, our colleagues showed that the pH of a Dicamba and glyphosate tank mix is at 5 or even below 5, depending on the pH of the original water source. And so this is important because the labels of the XtendiMax, Engenia, and FeXapan all indicate that the pH should be above 5 to reduce volatility. So Dicamba is volatile in the acid form. The more acidic you make it or the lower the pH, the more likely it is to volatilize. So our collaborators also showed that by adding pH modifiers to the Dicamba and glyphosate tank mix, they could increase that pH to above 5. And so we wanted to take that to the next step and look at it in the field. When you increase the pH of the Dicamba and glyphosate tank mix, do you lose any efficacy on weed control? So we obtained 3 pH modifiers, Max and Boron, Waypoint, and Kaylee Versa, and we added them to either an Engenia or an XtendiMax tank mix solution. And as you can see, our Dicamba with glyphosate tank mix solution that included intact and class actinidiol, the pH was approximately 5. I think for the Engenia solution it was exactly 5, and for the XtendiMax solution it was 5.06, so very close. When you add any of these pH modifiers, you can see that you increase the pH. The starting water source is shown in the blue line at the top of the graph. So we know that we can increase the pH, similar to what our colleagues at Tennessee showed with a different set of pH modifiers. Now let's take these solutions to the field and spray them. So we took them to a research plot that was densely covered with water hemp. And when I say densely covered, I mean 275 plants per meter squared at application. And these plants were 6 to 8 inches tall. We basically wanted to challenge these treatments by applying in very difficult conditions in order to see differences among the treatments. And this is preliminary data, but what you find with the 21-day ratings is I rated the whole plot, and when you rate the whole plot, you don't see any differences among the treatments. I realize control is pretty low in general, but again, the density and the weed height can account for some of that low control. But the punchline here is that there aren't differences among the different pH modifiers compared to having no pH modifier. And so this is a promising result in that maybe we can add pH modifiers that should decrease the risk of volatility and then increase or not lose any of our water hemp control. So this is very preliminary work, and we still have more to do, obviously. Be good to test some other weed species next year. And additionally, we are increasing the pH, but we haven't done any field tests to show the reduced volatility yet. So that would also be something to consider in the future. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email myself or Dr. Bradley, or leave a comment on our social media. Thank you.